All right, so I'm about to go on a run with my wife and my daughter. I'm gonna use this as a little bit of a warm up. We're gonna see how the ankle's feeling, but when I come back, I want to talk about, because I wanna keep it real on this channel and talk to you about what I'm going through. And today is gonna be all about binge eating and how to get my diet back on track. Let's go on that run. Okay, so one last minute of walking here back to the house before we are done. Run, walk, Zoe, Viv. It's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right.
Okay.
All right, so just dropped Zoe and Viv off of the house. I'm gonna go on a little bit more of a run. I don't know how far, but that was a pretty solid warm up, a little bit over 2 kilometers. Easy run today, just to get back into the groove of things. Ankle is feeling pretty good. All right, let's go. All right, so a little bit over 8 kilometers. That's after the 2 I did earlier, so over 10 kilometers on the day. Ankle, I did feel it, so we're gonna see how I feel in the morning, whether I want to go run again. But for now, I'm gonna go back and talk about binge eating and how I'm gonna work on my diet going forward. Let's go. Hi everybody and welcome back to my office. That was a great run, a couple of runs actually, and I'm pretty excited about them because it's a couple days after Christmas. I've been taking just a little bit of time off because my ankle has been bothering me a little bit, but those 2 runs, first run was just a slow run walk to ease back into it with my wife and my daughter. It was only 2.15 kilometers at a 9:03 per kilometer pace, so nice and easy run walk. And then I followed that up with an 8.17 kilometers at 6 minutes and 3 seconds per kilometer. Again, easy pace, but felt pretty good. Little bit of a niggle still in my left ankle, but felt pretty good, feeling pretty good now. We're gonna do some recovery tonight. Later on, I'm going to the gym and doing a little bit of a chest and shoulders workout. Maybe I'll post some of that at the end of this video, but that's later on today. But what I did want to talk about today was binge eating and how I'm going to attempt to kind of get that under control, because I struggled at wanting to bring this up on my channel, but now I'm at the point where I really want to share with you just all of the things I have going on, because I think there's probably a lot of runners out there who can relate to me on this whole idea of binge eating, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Put that cookie down now!
So to put a little bit of this into context, I should talk just for a minute about sort of my history and my past with dieting, with weight loss. Now, if you have been following my channel, you've probably heard me talk about this a couple of different times. By the way, if you haven't been following my channel, please consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up on this video. I think there's a lot of folks out there who are going to really relate with my journey, and I enjoy sharing all that stuff with you. But if you have been watching my videos, I've talked about it a few times. Just a few years ago when I decided to make a number of changes in my life, I lost about 80 pounds in that process. I gave up alcohol, not something that other people have to do. I'm not suggesting that. And in this video, anything that I say from this point forward, it's not things, I'm no dietitian, I'm no health professional. These are just some of the things that have worked for me, what I plan on doing going forward. But I gave up alcohol, I cleaned up my diet, I actually changed career paths 100%, and my friends group ultimately changed quite a bit too. So all the people that are around me now know me as this more fit guy who spent a lot of time in the gym, has more recently spent a lot more time running and doing endurance things. So nobody really sees me as this person that might be struggling with something like eating. But my theory is, again, that there's probably a number of other people out there who can relate to exactly what I'm going to talk about today. And when I first lost the majority of my weight, I was following more of a bodybuilder style diet. Really, really high protein, really low carbs, fairly low fat. Most of that was just so that I could make sure that I was getting the proper amount of protein for building muscle. But it wasn't until I turned to some endurance events or become an endurance athlete when my number of total calories that I could eat during the day went through the roof, and B, carbs became my best friend. And these kind of became a little bit of the issues that I've been struggling with lately in terms of just making my diet as clean as possible. Because ultimately what I've found is it's more than just about how I look and I feel. I'm in a pretty good place. I feel very comfortable with how I'm looking right now, but also how I feel. And that's so, so important in terms of not just my personal life, but also as I go down the road of heading into my next marathon prep, being able to successfully get to those workouts, get to those long runs, get to all the daily miles that we're going to log, because it's a challenge and it's tough on the body, and you need to make sure that you're fueling well. Okay, so specifically, how have I been struggling? Well, it really comes down to the last few hours of the day for me. Usually during the day, I'm pretty controlled, and maybe, perhaps, as we look deeper into this, this is part of the problem for me. But when I come to the end of the day, I just eat a ton of calories, and 95% of those calories come in the form of simple carbs. Now, when I say eat a ton of calories, I'm talking thousands and thousands of calories. And to give you an example, I mentioned that we're just after Christmas now. Just a couple of days before Christmas, my wife was looking at putting some games together, making puzzles out of different boxes so that we could play with them as the family was over on Christmas Day, this silly little game that we were doing. But she was looking for different boxes, and I thought, why not use a Reese Puffs cereal box? The problem was that we had a full box of Reese Puffs. Well, I took care of that problem eating a full box of Reese Puffs. Now, that was a few thousand calories. Next morning I get up and I feel like garbage. Oddly enough, when I step on the scales, I haven't really gained any weight, and I think that's part of the issue for me, is that I'm not seeing the scale go up, which ultimately for a long time was my major measure on whether I was doing well with my diet or not. So I convinced myself that it's okay, but then when I try to get out there and go for a run or go to the gym, I just feel horrible. So where do I start? How do I fix this problem that I'm having with my eating? Now, I am a guy, I think probably like a lot of you out there, who really, really focus on the numbers with our runs. I am no different when it comes to my diet. When I want to dial in my diet, I really, really focus in on my numbers, the calories, the number of carbs, fats, protein that I need to eat. Now, I will say, this is a great point to say that, again, I'm not a dietitian. I am no expert nutritionist on this stuff, but I simply know what works for me. And what works best for me is if I track things fairly closely, set myself a little bit of a benchmark, and make adjustments after doing some journaling and different things to just see exactly how things are working. This isn't the video where I'm going to talk about fueling for a specific run, a long run, or a big workout, or a marathon. There's lots of videos out there that do that, and lots of videos I'm going to do going forward. This is more of a how to set myself up for success going forward. And there are some people out there who really, really like this idea of intuitive eating. I'm not that person. I work a whole lot better if I have some structure. So where we're going to start is with the tdee calculator.net. So if you type that into Google, you're going to come up with this website. I'm going to jump in, punch in some numbers, and we're going to look at exactly what tdee calculator.net suggests that I do in terms of my calories, carbs, proteins, and fats. All right, so we are going to see some personal stats here as I bring this up, but I think that's okay. I think I've talked enough about my weight on this channel and my height and all that other stuff, but I am 40 years of age. Weight currently is around 175 pounds. I am 5'11", really, really close to 6 feet tall. if I'm wearing the Triumph 20s. And activity level, now there's several different ones here: sedentary, light exercise, moderate exercise, heavy exercise, athlete. I'm probably between heavy exercise and athlete, but we'll keep it conservative and go with heavy exercise. And if I hit calculate here, now some people, this is the point where some people are going to say, not everybody's cookie cutter, you shouldn't just use this system. But again, for me, I'm trying to set myself a benchmark. I'm simply using this as a tool to figure out exactly where I want to start. Then I'm going to go from there and make adjustments over weeks and months, and just based on how I feel, and ultimately just where you're at in your training, because that can change too. The further I get into a marathon training block, obviously the more calories I'm going to need even just to maintain. But if we look at this, there's some really interesting information here. Now, it does say that my maintenance calories, again, is just a guess, just an approximate number, 2,977 calories. I'd say that's actually pretty close, to be honest with you. The ideal weight for me, I'm actually a little bit overweight according to this. The ideal weight is 158 to 171. My BMI right now is 24.4. And again, I don't pay close attention to my BMI at all. Now, I am looking to lose just a couple of pounds, but marathon training is not the time where that should be your main focus. So if I am dropping a little bit of weight, and I do feel that I definitely am losing weight too quickly and it's affecting my training, we're going to stop that right away. But I will click on cutting here. This does say, which is 500 calories per day deficit. That gives me 2,977 calories a day down to 2,477. And I actually like the first one here, moderate carbs. Now, this is just an old habit I have, and a lot of people are going to say that that's way too much protein, but 186 grams of protein, 217 grams of carbs, and 96 grams of fat. My guess is over time, the amount of protein is going to come down and the amount of carbs are going to go up and the amount of fat is going to stay right around the same. But again, we're just setting a benchmark, and this looks like a solid spot to start for me. Now, it does have some calorie tracking tool suggestions. And oddly enough, I use all three of these, not because of this website, it's just the habit that I use. The food scale, I love the food scale. Even when I'm doing recipes, I find using the scale so much easier than actually measuring something out with using cups and half cups and all that fun stuff. Then we have the bathroom scale. You probably saw that at the beginning of this video. And then MyFitness app. Now, some people are going to find this really tedious, and maybe even some people are going to say, again, if you're into intuitive eating, that this is an unhealthy way to be. But I find as I need more fuel into my body, it becomes so much more important that I track these things more accurately, because that's going to allow me to really compare where I'm at and how I feel to what I'm actually eating. So I use that as a tool. Again, not for everybody, but MyFitnessPal is what I use. Probably at some point do a whole review on that. In terms of supplements, fish oil is definitely something that I use every day. Vitamin D, no, but I do use a multivitamin. So that is it for the tdeecalculator.net. I am going to start off with those numbers. I am going to be weighing myself probably every day, just because the more information, the better for me. And I know, again, this is going to be too tedious for some, but that's what I'm going to do. Is this going to solve my binge eating issues? Probably not, other than it does give me sort of more accurate numbers in terms of total calories, and the amount of those that are carbs, and the amount of those that are fats, and the amount of those that are protein. I think for about a week, although the plan is to clean up my diet, the focus will not be so much on making sure that so many of my calories are clean. The focus will be more on hitting those different macros, and it's baby steps. So over time, putting in more complex carbs and less of those simple sugars, things like the Toblerone bar that I have here in front of me. By the way, this has just become a little bit of a tradition of mine, is that after Christmas, after we get past Christmas, either Christmas Day or Boxing Day, turns out it's the day after Boxing Day that I'm starting this, but I eat one piece of this bar every day until it's gone. That's it, guys. I know that was a really short video. I'm all about the tracking. I know that doesn't solve all the problems, and I'm sure that's not necessarily the healthiest way for me to get back on track with my diet, but this is what we're gonna try. I'll be sharing with you in future videos exactly how that is going. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope if you're not subscribed, you take the opportunity to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and let me know what your diet's like. Now, this isn't coming at a time when we've just gotten past Christmas and I ate a bunch more over Christmas, which I did. It's more of this has been something that I've been looking to tackle for quite a while now. My name is Matt. This is What Matters to Matt, and ultimately, what matters to me most is my family. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.